Well, on part one, I forgot to say, be sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. Back with part two of the Mexico United States border crisis with Jennifer Doran, whose information will be on the screen and is in the description box below. And Erik has been a big help. Erik is my boy on the side. Will this continuation of the questions? Will Mexico's corrupt law enforcement and government ever be stopped? Will their state eventually ever get to be a safer place than what it is now?
Yes, it will.
I hope so.
Yes.
I think as long as they're, the officials, they're that's like, they either can possibly die at the hands of the cartel or be paid by them. So that's the problem is
Yes.
in the corruption in Mexico is mostly from the cartel.
It's very, very dangerous, but yes, eventually it will be safer. It will be, and actually Erik is saying there's actually going to be at some point, it'll still kind of be cartel, but with less. So at some point, somebody's going to say, okay, wait a second, if we make it safer again, there's other stuff, but it will still be kind of cartel at first, but maybe a less volatile, which
Okay.
I mean, it used to be, it used to be kind of less volatile. It's gotten really wild over the last, whatever, 10 or 15 years. But it'll go back to kind of being a bit more sensibly run, but still through the cartels, and then it'll improve from there. Now, this could be 25, 30, 50 years.
Oh my
But
God.
yes, it does.
So a lot of politicians have talked about just sending drones and just bombing the cartel, not the people necessarily, but their poppy fields and their marijuana fields and whatever. Is that if Mexico obviously would have to agree, but is that going to be an eventuality to stop
It is on the
poisoning our kids?
table. It's on the table. Uh, Whether the trigger is actually pulled on that is still very much up in the air.
Yeah.
Um, they're just right now, there isn't any way to do it without killing innocent people.
Yeah. See, that's a problem.
Yep.
But they're killing innocent people right now. I mean, the fentanyl overdose is just horrendous.
Yeah.
What about stopping China from selling the precursors to for fentanyl to the cartels?
There's
It would have to be a policy thing.
yes, but that is actually there is financial benefits beyond China for that right now, and so that's not looking like it's
To
going to be
whom?
stopped anytime
To whom?
soon. Erik says it doesn't matter.
Okay, so politicians and our government, I'm sure. All right. Will America see an economic collapse like the Depression due to open borders? And another one I can see here. Will this be the demise of the US?
So he says no to both of those. No, there will not be a depression to that extreme, at least at this point, at least where we are now, looking forward, no. There will not be something else will happen before then. And it will not be the demise of the US.
Okay.
It will not be. Now, there is like, and he was saying this before, the United States is a big country. And so it's like smaller countries need to there'll be something where like smaller countries kind of band together to create
Okay.
like a bigger system
For
to
what?
help with this. So like even in the States, like uh, every state could give a little and it wouldn't be as big of a crisis.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, at some point it has to be like, okay, the the speed at which people are coming in needs to be manageable.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like this is
Yeah.
kind of a silly way to put it, but if you went to a big high school, there was three different lunch periods because you had to filter in, couldn't feed everybody if they all showed up at
Right.
once.
Right.
So it like at some point it has to be like that, but there's also going to be like facilities in other countries, like Eric said this to me before in readings where like like back in the 1800s when people used to rent a room,
Okay.
okay, in
Right.
a house, like a boarding house.
Yeah.
So we're going to start seeing like more of that kind of stuff like in other countries too, where it's just
Oh,
like, okay, it might just be this room is all we have for you in a shared bathroom. There are ways to think about it, but it can't continue to be all in just specific
no,
cities. That
no,
doesn't
of
work.
course not. And for them to bear the brunt of the tax burden
Mhm.
for just these little municipalities, for example,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah, but it's
right.
not, this is not the demise of the United States,
Okay.
but restructuring for sure. In other countries as well, restructuring how the
Okay.
government works and stuff. Yep.
All right. The right rhetoric is criminals are crossing. What percent have criminal intent?
So, so uh, interesting. So actually, some of the stuff that's considered a crime in the United States wouldn't be a crime where they're from.
Wow.
Okay. So there is, like think just traffic laws, just our traffic laws that are maybe not crimes, but like,
Yeah.
this sort of thing. So really it's a very small percent, 10% of
A lot.
people, 20% might think, okay, like I might have to like steal or something.
Yeah. Yeah. To survive. Yeah.
Yes, but a lot more people end up doing something criminal once they get here that they didn't necessarily. If you're hungry, you're going to steal something,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, what about
So,
crimes that they could avoid? Murder, Lincoln Riley, for example, um,
oh, like how many people come here
carjacking,
planning
gang
to,
shooting, those kind of things that are not just criminals for crimes of survival.
so that really it's 5%, but and this does not count people who already have gang ties who are just crossing back and forth. Okay.
Okay.
People coming in, joining gangs, committing murders, get
Okay.
rape, this sort of thing.
I mean,
It is a small percent. People don't think that they're going to have to come and, you know, kill people and, commit murders and these sort of things. That's not the plan,
yeah.
you
So what
know.
if they do? What should we do with them? Shall we deport them or put them in our prisons?
He says for some cases they should stay in prison here,
They'll probably just
rather
come right back anyway.
rather than be deported. They really should stay in prison here. It's a case by case. It's a case by case.
Okay. Uh, Now, we sort of, oh, well, wait, I skipped one. Will we ever stop fentanyl from crossing the border? That gray death and other synthetics are more dangerous than clean drugs.
No, will we ever completely 100%
Yeah.
stop it? No, no, and it's not even just crossing the borders. It's, they'll make synthetic stuff here. It doesn't have to even just cross the borders.
No.
It's
Well, will we ever slow the fentanyl crossing the border dramatically? And if so, when and by what percent?
so, um, this does go kind of into the theory of if we legalize stuff, it
Oh, that's
slows it.
never worked out. You look at Denver.
Well, I know, but it does slow some of the crime down crossing the borders if it's
Yeah.
so if we're
Oh,
talking
oh, I
strictly
see.
just that.
The crossing, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, oh yeah, no, it doesn't, yeah,
It's
not like overall crime,
those
but
that tried it are trying to reverse those laws because it
mhm.
made a
Yep.
mess of their cities.
Yeah, but just strictly talking at the border stuff, though, I mean, if you made it legal so it didn't have to, be illegally taken in, that would
Okay.
fix some of that issue there, but it creates other issues. What is that? I like
Like
the economic
whack-a-mole,
terms, the unforeseen, whatever that
right?
terminology is. Yeah.
Unintended consequences.
Unintended. Thank you. God, I can't ever.
Yes, yes. I know my tongue gets twisted up too. My thoughts do anyway.
So basically what Eric was saying is there really isn't like a fix all for any of this. There's not anything that's going to be done that's going to fix this. We just are kind of all muddling through trying to figure out what the best way to go is and what the best thing to do. And one of those things is to get people to try to stop coming if they don't really, really have to, because of what could happen to them along the way,
Yeah.
or when they get here and there isn't the services. It's not,
Yeah, they're very disappointed. I
mhm,
would have expected better service.
yes,
But I just feel sorry for the homeless veterans. They're not getting debit cards loaded with money for every month, and
yeah,
cell phones, and free education and free medical care and all. I mean, my housekeeper, she's pissed because she still can't get her Medicaid gold card for medical services.
yeah.
But all these illegals, and my ER nurse daughter, she's just flabbergasted by how many of them are just sucking the resources away. And you have
It,
them, of course, they have
it's,
medical needs. We're human
yes,
beings. They're human beings. Well, we
yes.
have absolutely no choice.
No, there just is not, and there is not a good solution. There's
Yeah.
not a good, quick
We warned
solution like
y'all
this.
before when we started part one, guys. But we're all eternal beings. So in the end, everything's.
Yes.
How will the border crisis affect the Yuma County in the next few years? That's in
The,
Arizona,
oh,
I think.
Yuma, yeah. Well, I mean, kind of the same as it's done at any of the other
Yeah.
border areas,
Same like you answered with San Diego County, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it has the potential to, yes.
Okay. I live in the northern border state of New Hampshire. We're hearing reports of the same thing going on up here, but not reported in the MSM as much. I don't know what that means. Must be a news stud. Do you have any information regarding the northern border problem, Eric?
So it does not, Eric says it doesn't get quite as bad as quick up there. Um, it's a fraction of the overall. It's less than half. It's less than half. The issue
Okay.
comes from the northern border.
Yeah, probably at least, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, way less than half.
Yeah.
So, like honestly, he says this is just like not even to be concerned about
Okay.
necessarily. It's just
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's happened forever.
It's hard to patrol that northern border. I mean, it's
Yes.
so wild.
It's
Well, the
so
southern
yeah.
border is probably not easy either.
No, no, it's not. And that's the other thing is that, there's just not the manpower. So it's not even just about the money and there's not the manpower to fix this, to solve this, to make it right. It's just the manpower is not there. There needs to be, it's like there's a lot of the left hand's not talking to the right hand here,
Yeah.
you know?
Government's
Um,
gotten too big. Well,
mhm.
if Trump wins, then a lot of celebrities like De Niro are going to leave. So that'll leave a lot of space for new migrants. I'm kidding. Making a political joke.
Yeah,
It said
it
that
was
we're leaving. Right.
I keep getting this is totally an offshoot. And this has been for weeks now, but I keep feeling like it's not going to be either one of them that's our next president. I don't know what that's about.
Might not be. Maybe it'll be RFJ
Yeah.
K Jr.
I
Yeah.
just I just am curious. I'm like,
I mean,
or
out of
they if it
350
is,
million people, why can't we get two better options?
I
Seriously.
don't know. I don't know.
Anyway, I'm not into that kind of thing anymore.
Yeah.
Be. Is there a point in the far future where there will be such thing as no borders, like living globally? And
Yes, this
so,
is
how
what
did
yeah,
and would that be successful?
yes. So that's what Eric was talking about before, when it was like, in order for us to get to the higher vibration, the new earth that people talk about, it is going to end up being like that. So we're kind of not really, because I mean, people have been, going from country to country for since there's been borders,
Yeah,
but um, right now it's happening on a mass scale so
yeah,
that we can see, okay, like, wait a second, how is this going to work if we did, like, people can't just all want to be in one place, or 10 places in the world, this is where everybody wants to be. It can't be like that. So we really are like in a time on earth where like big change could happen. Now it might take decades
yeah.
to actually get there, but we are like at that shift where we are heading into the idea of the new earth and raising the overall vibration of the earth. And this is part of it.
I remember in high school, I did a paper on the benefits of having no borders, just being one beautiful global collective. I don't remember what grade I got though, or what I said. Uh, yeah, so if there's a possibility it could be a mass deportation. If there is, I mean, that's going to have awful optics. It's going to be
Yes.
really bad. But if
Yes.
so, what percent of people are going to eventually be deported? Will it only be those who commit crimes and then out they go, or people who don't want to get a job?
So there is the
And so,
potential that it's just no. This isn't set in stone,
yeah.
but there is the potential for mass deportations that are just like back when INS just rounded people up, and if you didn't have
Mhm.
that, there is the potential for that to happen again.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
is what Erik is saying. So
Suppose you have able-bodied people, Erik, migrants, but they don't want to get a job. Okay, they could, uh, but they'd rather just be on welfare. What would you do with them? Would you let them have welfare? I mean, if they had asylum and all that are sick or whatever, yeah. But
yes,
able-bodied, not no
yes,
danger to home
the
country.
the way it is now, he said that would, yeah. So some states, yes, there are other states that like if you're on welfare, you have to, and show that you're either looking for a job or working
Right.
part-time, and they kind of step down. So that he said it would just depend.
On the
That will be a
state.
state by state thing. Yes.
Yeah. I
But
think if you don't
but
come here
if
and you're able to work, if you want to just freeload, I say you should go out of here. Boom. It's like that's the problem that the EU had. If we're going to have a global society, which I'm all for, then everybody needs to be, everybody possible needs to be productive and responsible. They had a problem with Greece not being productive and sucking
mhm,
all the EU resources. And, that was a problem. So, guys, if we're going to have a global, beautiful, loving, borderless world, then we need to have a relatively high percent of people who want to contribute something to the society, to the global
yes.
society,
Whether, and Erik says
and not
whether
just
you
be
were,
takers.
whether you're from whatever country you live in, or a migrant or an
Right.
immigrant, or what, it doesn't, yes. But see, that is what, like, that's ideal.
Yeah.
That's ideal.
Not
But
everybody will, but we need a
right.
relatively high percentage to
Yes.
support the
Yes.
society.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But he was saying no, if people have asylum, they won't be deported. Like if they're truly here for asylum, if they're on welfare, he's like, no, then that's it's okay
Yeah.
that they're
Right.
there for a reason, whatever. Plus,
Well, I mean, just having asylum shouldn't not be a reason to not look for work.
well, right, in an ideal world, but there are going to be people who have asylum who are able-bodied and able to work who are not going to look for work. And he says
Because
right
they have
now,
asylum status.
yes,
Ugh,
yes,
not good. This
yes.
isn't for them. A lack of productivity is a huge risk factor for drug use, alcoholism, depression. If you
Well,
can
yes,
work is good. It doesn't have to be hard labor, although I think
yeah,
it's fun. But anyway,
yeah.
that's
Well, no, there's just not an easy fix, but it really is the mass deportation was not with the people who had asylum. That was just there is the potential. It's not a guarantee. I would say it's about like 30% chance that something happens where it's just like just groups and groups of people being um that feels like police state stuff. So
yeah.
hopefully we don't
We
head
need
that
migrants.
direction.
We do
Yeah.
need
Oh,
migrants.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else? Anything else about the spiritual aspects of this? What we are to learn as a collective from this whole crisis?
Oh, so there's just so much. There's so much to learn. Like if this is something that really upsets you and bothers you, well then get involved. You know, if you are definitely like, oh, anybody and everybody should be able to come here, then get involved
Yeah,
and
open up your home.
open up your
Help.
home. Yes. So that's where we're at is,
Volunteer at the schools to help them learn. That's what I did with
yes.
an illegal immigrant. I
Yeah.
taught her how to read, and she's wonderful. She's totally fine now. It was,
Yeah. And so that's what, like, this is one of those things, one of the big things to learn here is so often people just sit back and have opinions
I
about stuff.
complain. Yeah.
Yes. So that's one of the big spiritual things to learn here for the growth is like, if this is something that really bothers you or upsets you or angers you, well, then get involved, do something.
Right. Help those who are coming over. If you want to stop them from coming over, go to their country and help it become better. Help
Yep.
them make a better country or whatever. I mean, that's the little
Yeah,
stuff.
something rather than just
Anything. Right.
having an opinion and doing nothing.
Right. We're armchair
Yes.
politicians, basically all of us. All right. Well, thank you, Jennifer. And thank you, Eric. You guys be sure to hit the subscribe button. Really, really, really need to get to 100K. So please hit that. And if you haven't seen part one, it was amazing. Go back and see part one. All right. Love you all.
Love you. Just stop recording, but don't get rid of me.
Oh, yeah. I won't get rid of you. All right.